Previously on Chucky, Andy and his foster sister killed one of the Chucky dolls that was in a girl's house and came to the conclusion that there was only one doll missing. But after that, Andy left his sister alone to get her away from danger, and Lexi's mother said she's gonna do a charity matinee of the Universal classic Frankenstein. On the other hand, Jake found the doll at the bus station, and with Lexi, they discovered that the doll was being sent to Charles Lee Ray's old house. Devin went to that house, freed Nika, but apparently it was Chucky and kidnapped him. And finally, Junior believed that his father had cheated on his mother with Tiffany, so with Chucky's help, he killed his own father. And achieving this, Chucky activated a bunch of dolls for the final episode. That's why today on the Summarizer, Chucky Episode 8, Season Finale. The episode begins with Andy arriving at Junior's house, and when he asks him who he is, Chucky tells him it was someone that never had the balls to be one of them. Junior opens the door and Andy says that he's looking for Jake, but Junior tells him that he's not there. He then asks him about his mother, and Junior tells him that she died. But then Andy asks him if his father's in the house. He says yes and makes him come in. There, Andy says that he met Jake in a group of collectors of Good Guys dolls and that Jake had one to sell. So there, Junior takes him to see Chucky, but when he opens the door to his room, Chucky's gone. There, Junior lies to him, saying that his father must have left with the doll, and when Andy opens the closet, there's nothing there. After that, Andy finds it strange that if his father left with his girlfriend, he took the doll with him, so he tells Junior to call him on the phone to ask him if he has Chucky. So Junior calls him, they listen to the sound of the phone in the bathroom, and find the cell phone there. Junior says he always forgets it, and Andy starts to check the bathtub, but comes again to find nothing. He asks him where his father or Jake could have gone, but Junior says he doesn't know, and Andy leaves. After that, Chucky shows up, who knew he would never check the toilet, and tells him that he didn't kill him because he had a gun. And then he tells him that he hates guns, and they're like his Achilles heel, along with axes, fire, and those industrial-sized fans. After that, he says he has other plans for Andy, and when Junior asks him what he did with his father, he says he's down the laundry chute. And after that, the two of them go out to eat. Back at Lexi's house, they keep thinking why Chucky wanted them to kill people and what he's getting out of it. There, Jake thinks it might be some voodoo spell, but there are more important things because at one point, they wonder where the doll is that he brought from the bus station, and Chucky appears.
Here's Chucky!
But just at that moment, Kyle, Andy's stepsister, appears and tells them that they must kill all the Chuckies that are around. But then Jake tells her that they must find Devin first, who's in Chucky's old house. She tells him that they will need Andy's help for that, and they wait for him. Lexi doesn't understand how Chucky can splinter himself into other dolls, and Kyle explains to her that it works only with good guy dolls, and it has to be an identical vessel, except for Nika, and there she tells them that she was the poor girl at the asylum and Chucky possessed her too. And finally, she explains that if Chucky can corrupt an innocent, if he can get just one kid to kill someone, he can make an entire army. There she asks the kids if any of them have killed anyone lately, and they say no. But at that point, the kids start to fall asleep because Kyle puts something in their coffee, and she says that Andy would kill her if she let anything happen to them, and that it's all she could think of to keep them safe. Finally, she promises to do everything she can to save their friend, and they fall asleep. Back at Chucky's house, Tiff arrives, and there's Nika who asks him please not to hurt her. But then Nika kicks her, and apparently it was always Chucky. After that, they talk about all the times Chucky murdered her, and when he's about to kill her again, Tiff tells him that he can't do it because he needs her, otherwise the plan won't work. Chucky in Nika's body is gonna kill her anyway, but just then, the other Chucky appears with Junior to tell him not to do it.
Thank you, Chucky. Come to Mama. Come to Mama.
Then Tiff takes everyone to see the whole army, and there are a bunch of dolls. Chucky starts talking to the army and tells them that they're gonna party like it's 1999. He orders them to kill all, and when he asks them if they have any questions, a couple have doubts about whether they are at any age limits. Chucky tells them that they shouldn't kill babies, and nobody under the age of 5 and 6 because they're not savages. Then they start talking about how it's unfair if they are twins because it's 2 against 1, but the conversation ends when all the Chuckies start laughing. After that, Tiff sends a bunch of dolls to I don't know where. At one point, they get to talking among the Chuckies, but for some reason, it's not worth telling, Tiff gets mad and punches the Chucky in Nika's body, and that gets her back to handling her body. After that, Chucky apologizes to Tiff for treating her badly and offers her a part of him as a sacrifice. So he tells Tiff to kill Nika, and even though he has a party inside, he doesn't care because there's 72 more of him in that truck. And even though Tiff doesn't want to do it, she says she's gonna do it for Chucky. But in the end, she can't, and he tells Junior to do it. And it looks like he's gonna do it, but right there, Tiff kills Chucky by cutting off his head. And this kill's not counted because it's only Chucky's kill count. Besides, there are like 72 Chuckies, and there's no sense to count them all, okay?
Okay.
After that, she tells him that she was tired of being with him, and there she tells him if he even wonders how those cops found him at night in Chicago. And there we see in a flashback when Tiff was angry because they never killed people together anymore, and when Charles left alone, she called Detective Mike Norris to tell him where her boyfriend was gonna be. So I guess that was the moment before the first Chucky movie starts, which if you haven't seen it, I made the kill count and I'll leave it up here. There, Chucky gets mad, but she says he can't do anything because she's useful to him. After that, she puts Nika to sleep and takes out a kind of bomb to receive Andy. Later, Nika, Tiff, and Junior get in the car. Oh, and there's also one of the Chucky dolls that Junior apparently kept. Finally, Tiff sets off some bombs inside the house and they leave. Meanwhile, Devin is left alone in the house. Well, not that alone because Chucky's body and head are still alive, and even though they're gonna kill Devin, Andy shows up to kill him. There, Devin tells him that the front door's booby-trapped, but clearly he figured that. He also tells him that they delivered the dolls in a truck and they are all alive. After that, Devin leaves and Andy starts torturing Chucky's head to tell him where the dolls are going. But when Chucky tells him they're going to be all over the place, Kyle shows up looking for her brother. And on top of that, she enters through the door where the bombs are. Even though Andy tells her to stop, she opens the door anyway that activates the bombs and the house explodes completely to hell. The next day, Jake and Lexi wake up and they read the news of the explosion in the old house of Charles, where apparently people died. And since Jake thinks it was Devin, they get super sad and Jake makes his usual face. After that, he goes to Devin's room, but right there he shows up, so Devin didn't die. I guess the one who at least must be dead is Kyle, so for now let's count her. If she later shows up, we'll remove a kill. There they kiss, and the important thing is that Devin tells him everything that happened, that the woman that was at Bree's wake planted a bomb, he got out, but Andy and Kyle were both inside. There Devin tells Jake that Junior killed his father because Chucky convinced him, and that's why he now has his own army. He also explains that they took them away in a truck, and because the biggest benefit is that day, they think Chucky's gonna hit there. Meanwhile, at the movie theater, the mayor welcomes everyone to the event and also introduces the special guest who's none other than the famous Jennifer Tilly. But right there, Junior asks Lexi for help because it seems that Chucky is attacking him and she goes to help him. And apparently Jennifer is gonna give away a bunch of good guy dolls from her collection to a bunch of kids, so 72 authentic good guy dolls will be transported immediately after the show to Teterboro Airport and from there to the needy children from coast to coast. And before going in to watch Frankenstein, Lexi's little sister does what she does best. She says she wants Chucky, so Jennifer gives her a doll as a gift. While in the theater, everyone's watching the movie, Lexi goes to help Junior, who has Chucky on top of him with a knife. At one point, she gets behind the screen where Chucky's alone and discovers that her ex-boyfriend was lying. At one point in the movie, Chucky hides under the seat, and when Lexi's father arrives, Chucky tries to kill him. Meanwhile, Junior keeps talking to Lexi, telling her that Chucky changed his life and taught him how to be a man. Later, the mayor woman comes back from buying popcorn and offers it to her husband, but I don't think he's really hungry. And when she eats the bloody popcorn, she realizes that Nathan is dead. And this woman, I guess, too, and Chucky kills a bunch of people by slashing them under the seat. And looking at the scenes, we see that counting Lexi's father and all these people on the floor, there are 11 deaths, so this brings the total kill count to 30. While all this is happening, Junior wants Lexi to join Chucky's team, but she doesn't want to, until at one point Devin and Jake show up and take Caroline, who is still watching the movie with her dead father next to her. There Devin takes the girl, and Jake stays behind to confront Chucky. At that moment, Chucky tells him that no one's gonna remember his name, they're only gonna remember how many people Chucky killed, and that also Hackensack is going to be the first place because his army is going to expand to the whole country. But Jake tells him he's going to stop that truck, and Chucky starts chasing him around the movie theater. At one point he cuts his leg and they start fighting. Oh, and there we learn that the doll is so strong by the strength of the great almighty Damballa or something like that. Meanwhile, Lexi tries to convince Junior that he's not like Chucky, and at one point, instead of attacking his ex-girlfriend, Junior kills Chucky, but the doll stabs him with a knife, so Junior dies too. After that, Jake gets rid of Chucky and ends up choking him to death. There the two of them leave, and I guess there must be like 69 Chuckies left, plus Nika? I don't know, I've lost count of how many Chuckies are left. Meanwhile, Lexi meets up with her two friends, tells them that Junior died, and Tiff tells the guy driving the truck that the plane leaves at midnight and he shouldn't be late. And remember that Andy was apparently dead? Well,
He's alive!
apparently he's alive, steals the truck with the dolls, and broke Tiff's car so she can't follow him. The three friends see that Andy's alive and took the dolls, and when it looked like Andy had finally won, one of the dolls is Tiffany's and forces Andy to drive to the airport. Meanwhile, Nika's still trapped with Tiff, but now she has her asleep to make sure Chucky doesn't get to handle her body again. Oh, and in addition to putting her to sleep, she cut off her arms and legs so Chucky can't attack her. Yes, she cut off Nika's arms and legs.
You are out of your goddamn mind!
Finally, it seems that they released the teacher. Our three protagonists go to say goodbye to their friend Junior, and there they come to the conclusion that it was Chucky who created that hate in Junior, and that he tried to do the same with Jake, but his friends saved him. And the three friends are more united than ever to fight against Chucky in the next season, but right there appears a hand with a glove that we don't know whose it is. Oh, and before they end the show, they show us Chucky saying that he hopes we enjoyed his new show, and he starts talking about who died in the whole season. Welcome to the Kill Counts Club, Chucky.
True love, BFF, and a whole bunch of dead parents.
And so ends the 8th episode with 13 kills, bringing the Chucky's first season total up to 31 kills. I'll be making more of these kinds of videos, so please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next vids. Also comment what movies or series you'd like me to summarize, and share this video with your friends. See you later.
Go to work.
Okay. Bye.